Hello, friends, and welcome into a very special edition of Outreach Radio Chicago. I'm your host, Michael Mercado, and you can find us everywhere in the universe. We're on Twitter at mmercado2333, like the radio show on Facebook at Outreach Radio Chicago, and we're on YouTube. Just subscribe to us at Mike Mercado2333. And on this edition, we have a very special interview with UFC Bantamweight Champion Dominick Cruz. And we talked to him a few minutes about his legendary rivalry with Urijah Faber that comes to a head Saturday, June 4th, 2016. Here's our interview with the UFC Bantamweight Champion. He is the Bantamweight Champion of the UFC. He is Dominick Cruz, and he joins today. Dominick, it's fight week for you, June 4th, Saturday. It is UFC 199. I come into an interview with the champ, arguably one of the best fighters, pound for pound, that's ever graced an octagon, and I get very nervous. So somebody for you who's literally going to be fighting in front of millions of people, how does fight week, the emotions, how do you calm down? What goes through your mind at this point?
You just focus on the things you can control. And I already did all those things for 12 weeks. You have to have faith in the process that you went through to get here. If I was trying to cram my training in a week, it'd be tough. I'd probably be a little stressed. But with all the work I put in, I have a lot of faith and a lot of confidence in my coaching that I have alongside me, the teammates that I have, and in the work that I put in. I've suffered a lot through this camp and through the years to get here. So I'm very confident in that, and that gives me a lot of peace.
And it's really cool that somebody like yourself who you've made it to the mountaintop on countless occasions and you still strive for it. And on top of that, you're part of this rivalry with Urijah Faber that's bigger than, nothing's bigger than the sport, but it's just so mainstream and just so huge. How does it feel to be part of something like that 20 years from now, there's somebody literally, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds right now watching this Saturday are going to be, I want to be those guys. How does it feel knowing, when you get a chance to actually take a step back, how does that feeling you're part of such history with this rivalry?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It just happens, though. It doesn't really, you don't really sit and reflect on it as much as you would think, because I'm still in the trenches, when you're in it, you don't reflect as much as I will probably when I'm done. When I'm done, I can sit back and say, wow, look at what happened. Look at the things that it's caused. The things that I'm doing, the things that this rivalry and me and Faber fighting, and we made each other a lot better in this game because we want to compete so hard against each other. And that's going to raise the level of mixed martial arts as a whole. And we're part of that. I'm part of that. I'm part of history. I've held the UFC belt. I was the first ever UFC champion. So people are going to be talking about that for a long time. They're going to take a lot of the things that I've done in the sport, and they already have, and it's going to keep building it. The tactics that I use and the fundamentals that I use to make it better. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's actually that's really cool, and it brings me up to this question that I always, it just amazes me when somebody like yourself has reached the levels that you have. At what point does it start being about legacy? In the beginning, it's about, scratching and clawing and getting your way to the big time and getting the big fight and getting recognized. But at what point do you start thinking hey, this is bigger than just right now. This is something that can live on forever, especially for somebody like you who's been dominating for as long as you have?
Well, when you start, you kind of have that outlook, to be honest, because that's what you're looking for. Otherwise, you're not going to get too far if you don't already have that goal in your mind. But once you start doing it, you're just living it. Like I said, again, I'm in it. I'm still in it right now. I haven't really had a chance to look at it and say, look at your legendary background. It's more just all right, here comes another one. I fight again tomorrow. Let's put this foot in front of the other. Let's get this weight off. I still got some weight to cut. Let's get in there and do work on this guy and let my instincts take over and have fun. Have fun. Go out there and do what I enjoy doing. Fight. And it'll all come together on its own from there.
Now, how much is that part of the sport? I'm here with the Bantamweight Champion Dominick Cruz. How much is that? Can you be fun, having fun? You hear the best talk about that you have to have fun with it, that you have to just be able to go out there and it has to be natural. How is that when another guy who pound for pound is one of the better fighters in the world as well is trying to punch you right in the face as many times as he can?
Yeah, I mean, it's I know what you mean by when you say that, because the fight itself. You're just you're going. Fun, you wouldn't really label it that way. But what's fun about it is the platform. Like you said, the interviews, that's not so much fun, but the outreach that you have, the way that you influence, when you're walking down that breezeway and you're hitting hands and people are screaming cuss words at you or high-fiving you and cheering for you. It's a crazy feeling. There's no words to describe it, and that's fun. And when I'm done with this whole thing, I'll look back and those are the feelings I'm going to go to grasp back onto. So I'm holding on to them tight because I've not had them for a while too. The injuries that I had, all that stuff slipped away from me, and I got to feel life without it. And now I get the benefit and the blessing, get to feel it again. Like here I am fighting again. I didn't know if I was going to do it again with all the injuries I suffered. So I had faith. I stuck with it, and now I'm just loving the ride right now.
Oh, and you can hear it in your voice, too. I mean, obviously, anybody who's been a big MMA fan has known what you've had to gone through. And it's also a treat knowing that you're coming back to such a mainstream fight against such a big rival of yourselves. And you bring up an interesting point with the injuries that you got a chance. And kind of our last real serious sports question, because I know you're doing this all day, and it's the least fun part about it. So being part of the broadcast booth, you get to see so many different sides of the game, of the world, right? So two things. How do you scout? What's the difference between scouting for a fight and being an analyst of the fight itself? And then knowing that you're talking in front of millions right now, and there's literally a 16, 17, 18-year-old who says, hey, not only do I like this guy, but I want a main event against this guy. Where's the yin and yang to all that?
Yeah, it's a trippy thing because you'll get guys like, I'm going to face you one day.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you're like, well, you want to fight me? Like, that's a weird way to compliment. Thank you.
Yeah.
But you got to get it. You got to understand it. It's just the mentality, and you got to give kudos to anybody who has the mentality, who wants to challenge themselves. So, like, within the last month and a half, I've probably had 5 different guys in my division alone that are calling me out. That say they want to knock me out and can knock me out. Well, I remember thinking that way too, and I still think that way about the people that I fight today. So we share that in common. All you can do is say, well, it's good you believe in yourself. That's what makes you competitive. But I'm going to go ahead and control the things I can, and that's the fact that I have a lot of skill set that you can't deal with, and that's the facts. So you keep working. Kudos to you. Keep getting your grind on. Keep making the division better. But I'm still always going to be here ready to win.
And that's only the best thing for the sport is competition. The top at their game, going at it. Doesn't matter the age.
Correct.
All right.
100%.
Yeah, so let's get, you got an important fight coming up. You got a lot more important people to talk to and things like that. So really fast, just some fast, quick questions that people always want to ask their favorite athletes and things like that. So if Dominick Cruz wasn't the best fighter in the world, the Bantamweight champion about to main event UFC 199, what sport or what would you be doing outside of kicking people's ass?
I think I'd be doing something crazy, hardcore probably. I would have found some other outlet. Like, I love snowboarding. I love anything extreme that risks my life. I enjoy driving fast. The Mint 400 is fun to watch. I would like to be a part of that one day. Trophy truck stuff. Quads. I go to Glamis when I can and ride the Razors. Just anything that risks your life, I'd be into. And on top of that, it's just fun to do it.
You only live once, my man. I definitely hear that. Now, all right, so what's something that you like to do relaxation-wise? Are you a music guy, a movie guy, comic guy? Do you like to, barbecue, fish? What's some low-key things where you're not, driving fast and punching people?
Basically, you named some great ones. Barbecuing, chilling out at home, sitting by the pool, barbecuing, cooking up burgers, bratwurst, steak, looking at the sunset and stuff, fishing. I love to camp. I love to mountain bike, like go out to an awesome remote area and go hardcore mountain biking for like 10, 15 miles up and down mountains and stuff. That's amazing to me. It's just fun to do different stuff, and that's how I relax. I try to do anything other than fighting to relax, to be honest.
No. And then really quickly, I know you got to get out of here. So you're the face of your division. You're one of the faces of the biggest brand mark of your sport. What do you think MMA can do for the community and for people out there who need an outlet and things like that? What has it done for you, and what do you think, as the Bantamweight champion, people get out of MMA?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think that if everybody on earth was forced to at least have one fight, we'd live in a much more humble world. Because once you're either the winner of that fight and you're not humble, or you're the loser of that fight and you learn something. But every single person has to end up on one side of the fight or the other. And it just teaches you things when you're challenging yourself that way. That's the biggest thing about a fight, is you're breaking barriers of fear that you have inside yourself. So when you're breaking those barriers, you're going against your body telling you, hey, what are you doing? Don't do this. This makes you nervous. And you do it anyways, you're breaking barriers. And when you're breaking barriers, it makes life easier for yourself because you're learning new things. So that's what I think fighting represents.
UFC 199, June 4th, this Saturday. It is Rockhold Bisping 2, but our favorite main event, I think the match everybody's going to have eyes on, it's Urijah Faber versus the Bantamweight Champion Dominick Cruz. Dominick, thank you so much. Congratulations on all the hard work, and everybody who's a fan of the sport knows what you mean to the sport, what you've done for it. I know you have naysayers, everybody does, but that means you're doing your job when that happens. So congratulations, good luck, good health, and thank you so much for being available for all of us.
Thank you, no problem.
A big thank you to UFC Bantamweight Champion Dominick Cruz. You could see the big fight against Urijah Faber Saturday, June 4th, 2016. It is UFC 199. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this very special interview on Outreach Radio Chicago. You can follow me on Twitter at mmercado2333, like the radio show on Facebook at Outreach Radio Chicago. We're on YouTube, so subscribe to me at Mike Mercado 2333. One last thank you to the UFC Bantamweight Champion Dominick Cruz. We will see you next time on Outreach Radio Chicago.